Hello, 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 beautiful beings, star seeds. Thank you all so much for being here. It's a Monday and we are discussing many things. I'm going to give a little general channel as well for the group. It's been a pretty wild, pretty intense past week energetically. So I just kind of want to take a look and see what's been going on with everyone. First of all, how are you? How are you feeling? How are you doing? I've been suffering with really, really bad migraines all this week, and just kind of some perpetual exhaustion and some extra triggers. Just that energy or emotion where you react and then you're like, that's so silly. Why was I even upset? Why did I even need to react? There's no reason for me to be upset. So I've been kind of in that space this past week. So I'm interested to see why that is. And then we have a ton of really great questions today as well from all of the members. Before we dive into updates on the children, what happened in the Suez Canal, I think I'm saying that probably wrong. Autism, 5D business, what else are we talking about? The Galactic Federation, what's happening, in Mars or on Mars. Dreams and manipulations. We're going to get into a lot of really cool stuff today. Before we do, I just want to remind you guys that May 11th is the next Galactic Federation meeting. And also May 11th is going to be the next members coaching call. And yeah, it was supposed to be May 14th, but I'm actually going to be in Sedona and I'm going to be doing some top secret filming there. So I can't tell you what I'm filming, but it's going to be great. And yeah, so May 11th, Galactic Federation event. Grab your tickets if you don't already have them for the live event. The best thing about the live event, I find, is just the ability to chat to one another. The chat room is always going crazy, and all of you get to connect to each other from all over the world. So check that out live. If not, we do have the May 11th recording link available as well, and I'm sure Lauren, you've already got it in the chat. And then it's also the free coaching call to all of the members, the YouTube members as well. It's a lot of EA in one day, but maybe if you're coming to the GFL and you're doing the coaching call, maybe you want to take the day off and do some journaling and have that be a self-love day that day. So just kind of keep that in mind. I do want to just give another warning. I have been made aware of some fake Instagram accounts that are continuously occurring, and it's really sad because basically these fake Instagram accounts are pretending to be me and then contacting people who follow me and saying, I'm doing sessions for $100 or $60 or whatever. And then people give these random people their money, and it's just not fair. It's totally wrong. And obviously it doesn't make me feel great that this is happening. So I want to clarify that I will never DM you and try and sell you something, all right? And I'm not doing any more one-on-one sessions, so please do not get conned by these people who are creating fake accounts and pretending to sell sessions, okay, as my name. Please use your discernment. All right. And then I also want to mention really exciting stuff. Sharma, hopefully you guys know Sharma, beautiful, amazing, great energy, one of my best friends, and she lives in UK, and she does reptilian shapeshifter work, releasing entities and attachments and all that great stuff. And so her and I have been working closely together for quite some time, for a couple years now. We are creating an anti-V course, okay? So if you have gotten the V, if you are living around people who have gotten the V, And if you are not ever getting the V, but you want to know how to protect yourself against the V, all right, definitely check out this course. We're going to be selling it for $22, and we're going to split that right down the middle, so 50-50. And I just really wanted this kind of information to, first of all, be in a very safe place, i.e. not on, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. And I also wanted it to be price-wise extremely accessible. So I think we're going to have about 4 videos and a lot of techniques that we're going to be giving around the V. And then I'm also going to be recording a guided meditation this week as well while I'm in the studio. And I'm going to be in a sound recording studio this week reading my book. I'm doing an audiobook. I'm really nervous actually to do the audiobook because I almost failed grade 3 for reading, writing, and comprehension. And I think I'm just a little bit scarred about reading out loud. I'm not, I don't want to jinx myself and say I'm not good at reading out loud, but just makes me nervous. So I'm going to be doing that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then next week I'll be in Sedona. And then the week after that, we're actually, driving across America and going to Canada. So it's a lot of stuff, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And I know that the second we're on this land, we can finally just breathe and be in nature and chill out for a second. Last thing I wanted to mention, really, really, really cool story, all right? And then we'll dive right into the Q&A. And then at the end, I'll do a channel for everyone, the group. And I also got to get my blender because I believe this is the last week. So I also added a ton of names to the blender for those of you who have reviewed me on Amazon. Obviously, if you didn't get chosen and you bought the book, it'd be nice if you just reviewed me anyway. Obviously, if you enjoyed it. But yeah, I believe that this is the last draw for the free 30-minute session. Okay, and I think that's it. That's what I wanted to mention. Okay, really cool story time. So my aunt reaches out. I guess she was talking to my dad. Okay, so it's my dad's sister, and she's 14 years older than my dad. So they're almost in a different generation between them, right? Which is really interesting. But believe it or not, they're born on the same day. So just very fascinating. Anywho, so me and my aunt have always had a bit of I don't want to say a battle, but a bit of a hard time with what I do for a living. I wanted to help my Bubba, my grandma, cross over. She was having a hard time. She was going through major Alzheimer's. She was in and out of her body. And I told my aunt what I wanted to do and help my grandma with, but I had to get my aunt's permission to help my Bubba cross over from her body. She was in pain. She wasn't really there most of the time. And it was there was a bit of a backlash from my aunt. And so she comes from a very strong Catholic background. So anyway, fast forward to, when was it? Oh yeah, it was Christmas of 2019, all right? So Nat and I flew out to Canada, Ontario, for Christmas of 2019, and we hung out with family, and we had a whole Christmas thing. We stayed at my aunt's place. My aunt and uncle. And that night, okay, while I was staying there, we were all playing a game or eating dinner or something. And I turned, kind of to the family, and I said to the family, something is going to happen in 2020 that is going to change the world and affect every single person on the planet. And it's going to change the world for the better. And And so I honestly, when I reheard this story, I literally didn't remember saying that. I say a lot of things. I drop a lot of hints, right? So I just really didn't remember saying that. And, but I said it to the whole family. And so my aunt that night, she goes to bed and she's thinking to herself, man, like the audacity of Liz to say that something is going to happen in 2020 that's going to change the entire planet? Yeah, right. I mean, what could possibly happen to affect everyone on the planet, And so it's funny because I said that in passing, and she really was almost like triggered by it. And that night she really thought about it, like, no way. Like, there's just no way. And then I guess something happened. Maybe she saw something on Facebook, something sparked it. And she was telling my dad that like a month ago, that came back to her. And she turned to my uncle and said, do you remember when Liz said that thing about something changing the entire world in 2020? Like, wow, she's really got some sort of ability, eh? And it was just really funny to just have that comment, that statement affect her and really kind of change her perception, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I wish back then I knew exactly what it was going to be that was going to affect the world and maybe give some preparation to all of us. But I do feel like in my own way, I have been preparing the masses. But it was just really funny. I wanted to relay that story to you guys because, rarely does what I do affect the rest of my family. And I just found that to be a very cool and validating story and experience. All right, let's dive right into the questions. First question here from Amy Frez. Hi, EA. Can you channel what really happened in the Suez Canal recently with the stuck container ship where thousands of trafficked children rescued? Okay, very interesting. I really don't know what happened, and I'm probably saying the Suez Canal like the wrong way. Suez. Either way, all right. So apparently, what happened in this giant canal? Now, keep in mind that I had to do a little background on it. I'm like, what is the Suez Canal? So apparently, this canal is like a giant, basically like a global transport hub between pretty much all the countries in the world. I don't know if it's that extensive, but it's a pretty big global trade hub, basically, a canal. Now, apparently, a shipping container ended up getting stuck in the canal, and it actually backed up and blocked trade for like everyone and really backed things up, and was a pretty big hiccup as far as trade, like even trading livestock, animals, furniture, food, you name it, right? Which you could imagine potentially animals passing away, food, rotting and those kind of things, right? It could have a huge detrimental effect. So, Amy, obviously what you're implying here, thousands of trafficked children rescued. Obviously one of the theories going on out there, and I'm not sure because I don't do this kind of research, is that this was a planned event, I'm assuming, to help the children or help rescue the children. All right, let's just tap into it. I really don't know. I'm so kind of ignorant in a way when it comes to news and what's going on in the world, but I just want to tap in. I want to see if I can get any information regarding the canal. Was this a planned event? Were children rescued? What really happened? So 1 second. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so honestly, it doesn't look good. I don't know I don't know what the community is saying about this. I don't know what the experiences are. I have a couple of validations here from what I just saw. First is it does feel like it was a planned, I mean, attack is not the right word. It was a planned event, let's call it, okay? And it was a planned event by the good guys, the white hats, to stop child trafficking, all right? And I don't know. I don't even know how to say this. It really feels like it's like, oh my goodness, I don't know. I don't feel like many of the children were rescued. I feel like many of the children passed away. And I also feel like that was part of the plan. Now, if you guys are thinking, what's the deal with shipping containers and children, and how does that have any sort of correlation? And I want to let you know that human beings are being trafficked in shipping containers, and it's just, I mean, awful, absolutely awful circumstances. And children have been trafficked along with other individuals, have been trafficked this way for quite some time. Now, what's really fascinating is I don't think I've ever really seen that before. I don't think I've ever really seen people in shipping containers before. I saw a group of maybe five or six children, and then there was like one adult in one shipping container, and they had different supplies in there. And when the canal got blocked, they only had a certain amount of supplies to last them for a certain amount of time. The adult that was in the shipping container with the children has some sort of communication device. I'm thinking it's like a satellite radio or something, or like a satellite cell phone. And they are supposed to give updates. Maybe it's for a GPS tracker as well for the container itself. And I literally was just witnessing one container that got stuck in the canal, and the adult in the container messaging or calling or communicating with, like, I don't know, the base or whatever, that they don't have enough food, that they're about to basically pass out and die of starvation and lack of hydration and water as well. And this happened. And so when I went and I spoke to the Galactic Federation about this, because I mean, it's just so devastating. And they told me that it was contracted for these children to go through that experience, to relinquish them. Yeah, so interesting. It's almost like they didn't pass away of rituals. They didn't pass away because of a ritual, and they didn't necessarily pass away of abuse. And because of that, it's almost like they're free, like they've freed their soul from the karmic trap that is here, that is taking place with the souls of the innocent and the children who keep getting reincarnated. And as I've said before, especially in that child trafficking video, is that these tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, probably definitely hundreds of thousands of souls on this planet have been trapped in this trauma loop with child sex trafficking over and over and over again. And if you think about it, maybe their lifespan is only 14 years, over and over and over again. And once their souls are clear, there are more galactic ambassadors, and there's more of these starseed and crystalline children who are clean, like clear with karma, coming to this planet, taking their place and ascending to the next level. It's like the trauma of these children are keeping the vibration and the density of this planet at such a low level that it's actually keeping the matrix in place. It's really wild, and it's so sad to see so many innocent children passing away. And what I heard when I tapped into this was, this is not an experience that is just happening or just happened with the canal. This is an experience of children passing away all over the planet, and it's, man. So the other thing that just popped in was there are these giant underground bases all over the world, and the individuals, the dark elite agenda individuals who were running those bases are basically getting taken down. They're just getting, so their resources are limited, and they're pulling back out of the bases. And now all of a sudden there's no one in these underground bunkers and bases to no longer abuse the children, but to no longer feed them or give them water. And they're just stuck there. And there's children all over the world who are passing away because of this. And, I even spoke to a child soul who passed away during the canal event. And I said, how do you feel about this? I mean, looking back at your life and seeing where you are now. And this girl told me, she said, hold on, what was it? She said, passing away at that time was better than anything that could have happened to me if I survived. That's what she said. And I think that is just pretty telling to their overall situation. Now, one of the other questions as well was about the child. While we're on the topic, it was about the child at Buckingham. So I'll just skip ahead to this next question. Miss Marie, what is the update on the girl who would not pass and cross over in Buckingham? Is she still alive? And if so, will she be able to tell her story to the world of what's been going on with the children? Amazing. So I was reading this question right before hopping on, and I went over there to ask. And so she's out. She's doing really well. Like I said, she looks older than a lot of the other children. Like, she could maybe be like 18, 19, but maybe she looks like 14 because of malnutrition. But she's out, and I asked her telepathically, I said, what are you going to do? And she told me, and I got full body chills when she said this. She said, I will never stop fighting. I will never stop fighting. Now, of course, she's recovering, and it's going to take a while to recover. I mean, emotionally, it's probably going to take lifetimes, but physically, she's got to recover before there's any more fighting taking place. So she's in really good hands. It feels like she's in the hands of the white hats. She's getting the medical coverage that she needs at this time. And I literally did not think that there was going to be hope for her during the battle. I literally did not think that she was going to get out of there. So I am so happy to hear that and see that. Oh, man. Okay. Whew. I think that was pretty much it for the channel. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about that. It's sad. but I guess there's a silver lining. There's freedom there for those souls. Okay, let's move on to Megan P. If the Galactic Federation is worried about giving us information that we may manifest, can we all work on manifesting something together? Like saving the children, for example. I feel like that's a priority. Sorry, my lips are so dry. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Every video that I do, I am setting the intention that we can all come together and manifest some sort of change, right? And of course, that change starts from within. Once again, if you're struggling to pay the bills, if you're struggling to get food on the table for your kids, if you're struggling to find a secure living situation or a secure job, you're not going to be able to sit in a global meditation and help save the world. And I would say you shouldn't be focusing your attention on helping to save the world while you're suffering. You can never assist the planet collectively or others individually if you are not at a certain level of taken care of. So the first question is to manifest global peace and harmony and high vibrational frequency is asking yourself, do I feel supported? Do I feel supported in my life? First, do you feel supported physically? Do you have what you need to not worry about having what you need? And then second, do you feel supported emotionally? Like you have at least one person in your life to talk to and open up to and say, hey, this is what I believe in, or I've been reading this book, or I'm like into this weird girl on YouTube or whatever. And then you can say, all right, my physical, my emotional is taken care of. Now it's time to deep dive into the spiritual, and then helping the planet. So just by imagining a brighter future for the next generation, just picturing a utopian society where there's free energy and no such thing as, maybe monetary value on things, like just a really open, free, harmonious society. If you can imagine that, then you are helping the planet come together. And that's, once again, that's what I try and do in every video, is give that power back and help the collective shift by helping you shift at an individual level. All right. Yes. Okay. Let's move on to Jenny Lee 333. Love how that sounds. And you are a 12-month member, so thank you so much, Jenny Lee. All right. Hi, EA. What's been going on with Mars? I have been sent videos about a war going on there, but also against us. Also, is Elon Musk someone we should trust? Okay, so I'll kind of reverse engineer that and go the last question first. Elon Musk is a very interesting, first of all, he's 100% an alien. And then we just have to ask ourselves, is he a good alien or is he a not so good alien? And the word is still out on that. I literally have no idea. I haven't really tried to tap into Elon. I have tried to tap in, but I haven't fully gotten an answer. My inkling towards Elon Musk is that he's a really good guy and he is trying to advance humanity and shift our frequency as much as possible. I don't know about all of the satellites that he's kind of littering our space with. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. But overall, I get a pretty good vibe from him, just energetically. But once again, I don't know for sure. And then with Mars, I don't know what's going on with Mars. I want to see if I can tap into the energy of Mars, if we can maybe just go there and see, is there a war going on? I know that we have portals and stargates that actually allow us to kind of teleport over there from planet Earth. I have seen those before in some top secret like government military bases. But let's just see if there's something, if there's something else that we should know about Mars. Very fascinating. All right. First of all, I just want to say, like, take or leave any of this as always. Firstly, it feels like Elon Musk knows for sure what's happening on Mars. Okay, it feels like he has a lot of information about basically the civilizations and the species that are already there and inhabiting Mars. And I think that he was forced to be aware of that through him wanting to go there and also having the means to go there. And he still wants to go there. So right now, there are discussions in place about humanity inhabiting Mars and having like peace treaties written up between humans and the Martians. I don't think I should call them that because I feel like that's offensive, but I also don't know what else to call them, and I don't really know what kind of species they are because I'm just not seeing them clearly. But I want to say that there is very clearly a civilization that's happening on Mars, and we are basically working with them right now. I didn't see a battle. I didn't see any sort of major battle that's taking place. Maybe the discussions are getting heated, and that's kind of the battle. I really feel like the tensions were really high in the past, but they're getting better, and I don't know why they're getting better. Yeah. So I don't really see a battle. I don't see like the civilization on Mars, planning to attack humanity or planet Earth. I mean, we're already under an attack. Like, there's not much else anyone can do. Super fascinating. I'll leave that there. There's really nothing else I could get from that, but I think that's really fascinating. Okay, next question here from Remy Rivera. How can you tell when your dreams are being manipulated by outside forces such as reps or other entities psychically attacking you versus your own psyche projecting your fears back at you like a regular nightmare? Wow, what a great question. I literally woke up this morning and I had this realization that a lot of my dreams in the past week have been manipulations, really just messed up, twisted shit that's like coming out in dreams, and I'm like, this is not me. But it hit me hard this morning, and I don't know the answer to that. I literally have no idea how you can tell. And then the problem with that is that when you wake up from some sort of weird twisted dream and you're like, wow, like my subconscious has a lot of work to go through, right? That can be detrimental for us to take on the fact that we must be sick and twisted somewhere in our psyche. The other end of it is thinking that all your negative dreams are just manipulations would be kind of like bypassing. Oh, that's not my own stuff. That was just a projection and manipulation to lower my frequency. So let me just tap into this question. Let me know in the comments below if you've been experiencing like weird twisted dreams that really don't feel like your own. Maybe they're very fearful, maybe they're just twisted, maybe they're psychological, maybe they're like scary, you know? So let me know, and I'm just going to channel if there's any information on differentiating that, because I haven't figured that out myself. And what I do, like what I've done up until this point of not having it figured out, is basically I take every dream with a grain of salt. Even if I had a really negative dream that impacted me and I felt like crappy after that dream, I'm not going to take it to heart, but I am going to ask myself what I can learn from it, if that makes sense. So awareness without attachment or reaction to your dream state, and that's going to be really helping you with awareness without attachment and reaction to every state of your reality from moment to moment. All right, so let's just see if there's anything like tips, tricks. I mean, I'm really curious about this one too. So 1 second. Okay. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so, okay, there's two kind of techniques that come through here. The first one that came through as far as discerning between a dream that is projected and your own dream that's still kind of twisted, but something that you need to learn from. It's about waking up, remembering the dream, and going into your heart center and asking yourself, was that dream a reflection of myself? That's the word that they use, is reflection. Was that dream a reflection of myself? And you will know. If it's a yes, you'll have a resonation. Maybe it's a tingle. Maybe it's like a little spike of pain. Maybe it's a ringing in the ear. If that dream was a reflection of you, you will know, like you'll feel the resonance. Everyone feels resonance a different way, but you'll know that yes, it was a reflection of me. If it's a reflection of you, even if it's kind of scary and messed up, it's something to learn from. Projected dreams are, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, you're learning from it because you're attracting it into your reality, but it's also a manipulation, and you don't necessarily have to take that in as part of you. If you get a resonation of, no, this dream is not a reflection of me, then just let it go. That's it. And maybe send it white light, right? And that's it. Maybe even thank the entities that gave you that messed up dream, because it's helping you discern, right? So find the appreciation in it. If you have a very, very, very tough time discerning between what is or basically discerning between a good resonation or a bad resonation, even if it's in the morning, even if your mind's quiet, and even if you're in the heart center, all right, what was recommended was a pendulum. I have not talked about pendulum use in like probably years, but the funny thing is I just found my pendulum, and mine is like it's just so powerful. It was a gift given to me by a psychic friend of mine. Anyway, yeah, so just, I'm packing things up, right, getting ready to move, and I found the pendulum again. Anyway, so a pendulum, I wish I had, I don't really have anything. I have a sucker, all right, don't judge me for my sugar addictions. So you take a pendulum. You could also take like a necklace, or you could put a ring on a chain. I mean, you don't have to have a professional pendulum. Don't take a sucker though, that probably won't work. And you circle it around and you ask the question. First of all, you have to establish a yes or a no. And then secondly, you can ask the question, was this dream a reflection of me, yes or no? And you'll get the answer as to whether that was an attack or whether that was your own dream. once again, if it was your own dream, what am I learning from this? Cool, thank you. If it wasn't your own dream and it was a projection, thank you so much for showing me how to discern by projecting false information on me. You know what I mean? So it's a win-win. It's always a win-win, you guys. Always a win-win. Don't use a sucker for a pendulum. All right, moving on. Okay. Let's see, what time are we? Oh my goodness, just love talking. Let's see here. Okay, 2 more questions. Okay, Laura. My goddaughter was diagnosed with autism recently. I was wondering if you could tap into the spiritual side of autism and explain how we can help those with autism, or rather how we ourselves can change in order to better understand those with autism. All right, so I received a couple of comments from you already in the chat, and that was just from my members. I couldn't imagine what the rest of you feel as well. But a couple of you said, can you please talk about the V, okay, the V's when we're children, and autism, and being on the spectrum, and the fact that heavy metals cause this. I'm not going to talk about that today, not because I don't believe in it, but because there's nothing more I can say about that. Yeah, I just want to say that everyone has, first of all, contracts. No matter if you get V's when you're a kid or not, you have predestined contracts to align with certain things. Some people align with depression. Some people align with anxiety. Some people align with being on the spectrum. Some people align with ADHD or OCD or whatever the other, labels are, right? And these are all extra limitations on top of the limitations of our body that allow us to learn certain lessons. Above and beyond mental health, some people align with a different race or a different gender or a different body type that can also cause certain limitations in their life. All right. So I just want to say that, to say, I'm 5'1" because I drank coffee when I was a kid, and screw you, coffee, for making me short, because it's your fault. How are we solving the problem here? How are we helping anyone by pointing at something and saying, this is the problem? It just doesn't help, because not everything is a causal effect of the one thing that we're observing, if that makes sense, all right? So I just want to say that I'm not going to talk about getting V's when we're kids and the correlation with autism and Asperger's and what have you, all right? We're just not going to talk about it because I don't think it's going to help, and hopefully I've explained why. All right, so Natasha, she's a lot of things. She is such a beautiful soul. She is on the spectrum for Asperger's. She got diagnosed, I think, when she was 30. She did all the testing, lots and lots of testing. She got diagnosed with ADHD and Asperger's, and I think that was it. But I would say that she has mild mania as well, and I just think that's really just fascinating as well. And I think we all go through mild, manic depression in our own way as well, without any sort of labeling or diagnoses or what have you. Okay, so I worked with a lot of children on the spectrum, mostly nonverbal on the spectrum, when I was around 14, 15, 16. I would go, I did a whole music camp actually, for children on the spectrum. And I also volunteered at an adult's home for adults who were on the spectrum as well, and it was amazing. Like, just such an incredible experience in my life. And then of course having a partner who's on the spectrum. And it was probably 6 months into our relationship when she told me that she's like, oh yeah, I got diagnosed with Asperger's. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's it. That's exactly what it is. That's what, she's just such a different human, And I think that labeling can be really detrimental, especially when it's linked with big pharma and say, you're this, so you need this. I think that's very, very detrimental. But I also think labeling is beautiful to say, all right, cool. So how do I work with my differences in a way that's going to really benefit me? And I know that Nat really got a handle over her differences, her ADHD and her, being on the spectrum and all of that after she learned that this is who I am, right? And so for me, this is what I believe, okay? Just from my experience, adults and children who are on the spectrum are a part of the new Earth comers. That information got downloaded to me a couple of months ago when I was observing Nat really being on the spectrum one day. And it just hit me with a ton of bricks that I am exposed to a beautiful partner who is very different than most other humans. And I always question why that is. And I understand that this is what the new children are encompassing, are embodying. Maybe they are nonverbal, but they are completely telepathic, And you've got a bit of that savantism as well, is maybe part of their brain functions in a different way, but a part of their brain functions even more so than most other brains, right? So it's just very fascinating to observe these individuals and some of their complexities and potentially downfalls, but also some of their strengths. And just like these transgender kids or these very non-binary fluid children in the Gen Z and younger generations, Generation Alpha, I think is the next generation below that. I think that they are challenging the traditional education systems because the education systems have no idea how to deal with these kids. And even though I was never diagnosed with anything, and I'm for sure minorly dyslexic, but even though I wasn't diagnosed with anything, I mean, the education system had no idea how to deal with me. I almost failed grade 3 because I just didn't know, I just couldn't really follow along. So yeah, it's just really fascinating. That's my opinion. That's my belief. The best way we can support our family members is to give them whatever they need to support their children or their family members with autism, especially on the extreme ends and the more non-functioning ends of autism. What I found when working with autistic and children especially, and even teenagers on the spectrum, and even adults, is we need to support them by stimulating them in different ways. So try all of the things with those individuals. Maybe it's music. If it's not music, try something else. Maybe it's electronics. Maybe it's, I know one of my clients who's also a member, Lali, you worked with, I believe, an older gentleman who was, I think, nonverbal on the spectrum, autism, and I channeled that he needed some sort of a programming thing or some sort of circuit board. And you told me that after months of working with this individual and just working with him in the right ways, the parents saw more of an evolution in those couple of months that you worked with him than the years prior, which is incredible. So it's all about giving them different things to work with. Maybe it's art, maybe it's this, maybe it's plants, maybe it's animals. There's going to be something that stimulates them, that really activates that kind of genome, but their souls are so pure. Okay, I will also want to say, if you guys haven't already seen Love on the Spectrum on Netflix, please go watch it. I was just thinking the other day how I have to rewatch that series. It was one of the most real, authentic, magical, beautiful TV shows I have seen in a very, 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 if ever, long time. All right, Love on the Spectrum. They are pure souls. They are pure energy, and they are here to shift the consciousness. And it doesn't mean that we're all going to be, autistic and Asperger's moving forward. It just means that we really need to learn something from these individuals and look up to them in a way. All right. One more thing that I want to mention about individuals on the spectrum and children as well. They're both very similar, whether the children are on the spectrum or not. Children will mention things in code. So I had an experience with a child back in November, and I forget what the code was. I think it was like, he kept saying over and over again, this is like a little starseed kid, maybe 4 years old. He kept saying, heal, blue, heal, blue, heal, blue. And later I had this download about the vibrational frequency of the color blue and how healing it was. And I got drawn back to that kid who kept saying the same thing. And the parents were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this kid is spouting off codes of frequency that we need. And this is what individuals on the spectrum also do. They spout off these very pure vibrational frequency codes that the rest of us can really use to anchor in higher frequencies. All right, so we need to be learning from these individuals big time. There's so much to learn from them. And I'm learning something every day from my beautiful wife and how much she teaches me. And it's been a learning curve, but I wouldn't have it any other way. All right. Okay, last question. Lee Tiger Girl. Hello. What is a 5D business like? One light worker was sharing a story of leaving her 3D business that was a French-style coffee shop in Toronto and stuff, and it got me thinking what kind of industries and businesses will survive and appear. Is there a point for me to start studying a business degree if this knowledge will be outdated soon and changed for the better? Any opinion from you, Elizabeth? Okay, great. And I know a couple of you were also saying that you wanted to start a new business. And I think that's incredible. I think a lot of starseeds these days are looking to start new businesses. And here's what I would recommend. If you're going to go to school with a specific job in mind. Don't just go to school for the sake of getting a degree and saying, I'm going to get some sort of job with this, because it is a lot of time and a lot of money. So say, for example, if you were going to go to business school to one day start your own business, you don't need to go to business school to start your own business. All right, I started my own business and I never went to business school. If you want to get into the corporate world and help big corporations pivot their vibration, and you want to be a senior manager at some sort of big corporation, yeah, you're going to need a business degree. If that's your end goal, go to school and get that degree as that end goal. If you want to be an entrepreneur and start your own business, I'm telling you right now, life is the best school, and anything that you don't know how to do is a Google search away. We are in an information age. All the information you could ever possibly need and want is free and accessible to you online. All right? So there's many different aspects of thinking about a 5D business. If you're asking the question, what businesses are going to survive moving forward, it is going to be pretty much online-based businesses are going to be the number one. I mean, think about Amazon shopping, think about Uber Eats, think about, we don't even have to hail a taxi or a cab anymore, we have Uber. Like, every new business these days are cutting out the middleman of the time and the space, right? It's every new business that's going to be successful is this freedom sort of energy. There's no I don't know how to say it. Like, say for example, back in the day, you used to need to access what do I want to call it? Like a website, right? And you needed WordPress to host the code, and then you needed GoDaddy to host the URL, and all of these different things, and then you needed a plugin to host your online shop. Well, you don't need any of that anymore. All of that is integrated into these very easily pop-up website structures like Wix, you know? Everything that you could ever possibly need to start your own business is available and accessible to you. What you really need starting your own business is the right mindset. If you don't believe that you are good enough to be successful and abundant in starting your own business, work on that first. That is a huge, very important foundation to focus on before stepping into your own business, all right? What else do I want to say about starting a 5D business? Okay. So part of it is pretty much all online. The other part too that I want to say is this new generation, like Gen Z, was born and raised with like an iPad in their face, right? I'm so lucky to be in a generation where, yeah, we had a computer when we were young, but we were like out playing hide and seek, you know, with kids on the street, running around like, you know what I mean, climbing fences, scraping our knee. Like, we really didn't grow up with that kind of technology. The younger generations that are growing up with technology are all going to be craving authentic, real, organic, connected experiences in the future. So half of the businesses that didn't make sense to be like to maybe walk into a store are now online. And then the other half of the, let's call them experiences, are going to be really more personal, more organic, more in person. So if you're like a Reiki practitioner, learn how to do energy work across seas, but also continue to have your door open if you feel comfortable with it, obviously in the future, to have clients actually coming in, all right? Now I want to mention that Magenta Pixie and I just connected for the first time ever right before this live video, and we recorded a really great interview. And, and she was talking about being weary of inviting people who have had the V over to her home. So we basically talked extensively about the V and some of her concerns and her clients and her people and their concerns. And she was saying how a lot of Reiki practitioners were not going to work on people who have had the V. I went into a whole rant about how that was very detrimental and not healthy and fear-based. Because what are we going to do when 80% of the population on the planet is V'd? We're just going to live in a cave, right? We can't do that. We got to keep living our life, and we have to know how to navigate the damaging effects of the V and other people who have gotten it, right? So we can't shy away and run away. I mean, she was telling me about wives who are leaving their husbands because their husbands got the V. I think that is like awful. I think that is the word. I mean, really, you're that fearful, that scared that you can't be around the person that you absolutely love? Like, I get it if it's not a good relationship, but man, I mean, I can't say that I'm unwilling to drink this water because I'm worried about the chemicals that are going to affect my body, so I'm never going to drink water again. Like, we cannot shy away from living our best life because of the V. Anyway, I don't know why I'm getting into a rant again. I ranted a lot with Magenta Pixie I think she was very open-minded to hearing my perspective. I think she does have a different perspective, but she was very supportive of the perspective that I have. So, and you don't have to agree with that perspective either. And it doesn't mean go sign up for it, but seriously, it means don't hold any fear around it. When we notice ourselves making different choices because of fear, then we're implying in that moment that we're not powerful enough to override the potentially damaging consequences of it. I mean, it's really what I'm scared of. What's really scary to me is having very awakened, very good vibrational people having so much fear around the V that they're making these detrimental choices in their life, and they're really truly holding themselves back from living the best life. That's scary to me, that people are so disempowered that they're making these choices of not seeing their family members because their family members got the V. I would never tell my family members to get it, and I wouldn't encourage them to get it, and I've voiced my concerns about it, but I'm not going to not see them because they got it. I mean, it's just... we can't live in fear, guys. We cannot live in fear. And I know that I'm totally getting into a rant right now, but I just had to relay that. And the whole, it was a really great interview. That's going to be released probably on my YouTube page later down the line, and she's going to release it on her YouTube page as well. All right, that being said, I want to choose a winner for the next 30-minute session. I'm so excited to have a bunch of sessions with all of the people who have won so far. So that's great. And then I want to do a group channel as well. So before we get to the group channel, and just to see headaches, nausea, anxiety, family issues, exhaustion. All right, everyone's been feeling it a lot recently. Before we get there, I just want to say, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this content. Be sure to subscribe, obviously, if you're not subscribed. And if you want to join the monthly coaching call, please join, sign up, be a member. If you have a question that you want to ask me that you feel like no one's asked yet, please sign up, be a member, ask the question in the Q&A post. And also just be aware for the rest of the members, please continue to upvote, which means give the thumbs up to all of the questions that you want answered every single week. Those are the questions that I choose every single week. All right, and then once again, free coaching call May 11th, and the Galactic Federation May 11th event is up right now. We've got a couple of tickets left, so be sure to grab that. If not live, check out the recording afterwards as well. And I think that's all of the different, yeah. All right, let's tune into the group here and see what kind of messages you guys need to know at this time. So 1 second. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So this is information about the V, but also like a good kind of insight for all of us in general as a community. And I actually have this as a part of the V course. So if you guys are interested, if you have family members who have been V'd, if you feel like you want to go and travel and you want the V yourself, Sharma and I, my beautiful, lovely light warrior Sharma, we are putting together a V course. It should be out in June. and it's going to be sold for $22. Her and I are splitting that down the middle, and we're both recording techniques to be basically put into that to help all of you with really important and strong techniques on how to override negative effects of the V. All right, so I got this image, and it's an image of a bucket of water, all right? And there is a, what do I call it? Oh yeah, a drop of ink. If you could imagine like the deepest, the darkest, the most abyss sort of black color you could imagine being dropped into this bucket. And if the bucket was empty and it was just the darkness being dropped into the bucket, it would just make the whole bucket black at the bottom, right? Because the dark ink is being dropped into the bucket full of water, it disseminates, it dissipates, it doesn't even show up in the bucket of water. Okay, so then I got this image of, if we had a group of people, if we had like 5 of us, let's say, and 1 out of 5 had gotten the V, all right? And all 4 of us said, we didn't get it, and we don't want to be around you because you got the V, all right? This is just an example of, like, you could even think about that person maybe not even getting the V, but in a really low vibrational state. We don't want to be around you because you're really depressed and I don't want to take on your energy, okay? We can place that in multiple different ways. The more and more we separate ourselves from individuals who are in a different frequency than us, the more polarizing we become and the more polarized the planet becomes. The more detrimental humanity is as a whole, all right? We cannot shy away from different frequencies. Now, when individuals are having negative effects of the V, you know what just came to me? Is we are taking on a small portion of the harmful effects of that V into our system energetically at a frequency level to help that person out. We're choosing to open up. We're choosing to take that on. You can say, I choose not to help anyone else out with the V. Okay, who got the V, because that wasn't my choice and I didn't choose that and I didn't want that. And that's fine. You have every right to say, I don't want to help. That's okay. But if 4 of us all came around this person and hugged them and helped them, all of a sudden we're taking that tar, we're taking that dark, negative, harmful energy, and we're dissipating it throughout all of our frequencies. We can't have one person leading the charge saying, yes, I will help everyone who has gotten the V and I will be there to protect them and take all of that on, because all of a sudden now that's all coming down on that one person. But if we were all to stand up and all to say, we are all human, we all deserve freedom, we all deserve health, we all deserve to feel good, and if we can all come together and harmonize as one, then we are dissipating any sort of darkness or dense frequency that is being trapped within the individual. To say, I don't want to be around you, and you're now, whatever to me, is creating polarity. It's feeding into the matrix system. You are continuing to put yourself in a 3D position. And you have every right and choice to do that, but we need to come together. We need to harmonize. And, I think that that's where Sharma and I are really coming from, is there is no judgment whether you got it, whether you didn't get it, whether you are around people who have it or not. There's no judgment there, but here are all the solutions. Here are all the techniques in a quantum way to really elevate yourself from where you are now to a better place, right? And one thing that Magenta Pixie brought up is using crystals, right? And crystals are great, and they have beautiful healing effects on us. But to say, I am only protected from the V when I have a crystal around me, is to subconsciously, inherently, say that I'm not powerful enough without the crystal to override the harmful effects of the V, or of chemtrails, or of 5G technology, or of the low vibe in this sugar or this meat or this whatever, right? We're inherently lowering our frequency and creating the assumption that we're not powerful enough just as we are, right? And we have to catch these programmings, we have to catch these mindsets in a very small and subtle way to really better ourselves. And you know what? I love Magenta Pixie. I love her vibration. Like, I definitely feel soul family. And her and I were laughing, and we were talking about getting Lori Ladd and Phil Good and her and even Laura Eisenhower together in a room, maybe like a virtual room, and doing some sort of video or interview. And I think that would be so much fun. And my cheeks hurt so much from smiling all day yesterday. But yeah, hopefully that message comes to you in a really good way. I really hope that gave you something that you were looking for or that you were needing at this time. That being said, let's go ahead and choose basically our final winner for the Amazon reviews. So I just want to say thank you so much, everyone, for reviewing my book on Amazon. It was incredible. So many reviews came in. Obviously, if you got the book, a little bit later, please review it anyway. That's like very much so appreciated. That's a way that you can give back to me. And I just want to put some good intentions out there and say, the right person will be chosen. And that's it, I guess. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right, I think I have someone. Yes. All right, little drum roll. Oh, okay. Lily Elaine, and this is from America, Amazon.com. Lily Elaine, congratulations so much on winning the free 30-minute session. I'm really grateful that you have your first and last name. That way we can really know that it's you. Please email either Lauren, just email Lauren at ElizabethApril.com and email her a screenshot of basically your review so that we can validate that. And other than that, thank you all so much for everything. I had such an amazing time yesterday at the live in-person book signing event. We must have had at least 150 people. I had so much fun just talking to all of you and hugging you and signing your books. And I'm really hoping that coming back to LA, there's going to be more events like that. And then moving to Canada, there's going to be more events moving to Ontario in the local area, and bringing people together, because I really do miss that. So thank you, everyone. I will see you next week, May 11th, for both the free coaching call for all of the YouTube members and for the Galactic Federation monthly message. I'm so excited. We're going to talk about solar flares and a bunch of other things, and just check into the timelines and the agendas and all of that great stuff. So keep up the good work, tribe. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Have an amazing rest of your Monday, and have a great rest of your week. Bye for now.